Alright, video response. This video is about lifting weights while maintaining your speed, and particularly your speed for martial arts. Okay, so this is what the person says. How do you manage to lift weights and do all other workouts and still not lose your speed? I used to lift weights before, but I stopped and just do body weight training. So do you feel it's okay for me to be training in the martial arts to lift weights? I would prefer more body weight if it works for me, but still I want a muscular tone and I want to lift a little here and there. If so, how do I lift and not bulk up or lose speed? Also, how often to lift? Because I usually do everything every day. Okay, my response is that you gotta come up with your own program for the martial arts, because really nobody out there really trains like the martial arts. America knows all about sports. Like, they got people that have been studying like conditioning exercises for football for many years, because America knows all about football. America knows all about basketball, so they know like conditioning exercises for basketball players. They know it for baseball players. They know it for boxers. They know it for wrestlers. But they don't know it for martial artists. Martial artists are different. I mean, boxers go 12 rounds. Even cage fighters go 3 rounds, 5 minutes. But martial artists, they don't go for rounds. Martial artists, if it's a survival situation, they have to end it as soon as possible. So martial artists are like police officers. You know, they don't have time to. They don't. You know, they don't. They're not supposed to. It's not a game. It's just something they do to survive. So, you do what you need to do to survive. So the specific training is very different. What I would recommend, programs like from Bruce Lee. He has the Art of Expressing the Human Body. He has a book out there that lists a bunch of exercises that he did and the way that he trained. He was a martial artist, and the way that he trained would be something that you could learn from. But other people, they don't train the right way for martial artists. Like, bodybuilders are not martial artists, so you're not supposed to follow a bodybuilding program. You're also not a football player. You're not a boxer. You're not a wrestler, so you're not supposed to train like them. Powerlifters train a different way. You're not supposed to train like them either. So everybody has what they do. As far as like maintaining your speed while lifting weights, you gotta understand that when you lift your own body weight, that is weight. You know, so there's different progressions of weight training. Like, somebody could be very obese and they can't even do a pull-up. They can't do a push-up. So in order to exercise, they have to use weights because they can't push up their own body weight. You know, like, you put them under the bench, they can't bench press their own weight. They can't do a push-up. So what you got to do, you got to have them bench the bar to begin with. And they got to get used to that. So basically, in order to practice calisthenics, you have to have a certain amount of fitness. You know, you got to be able to do a push-up. You got to be able to do a sit-up. You got to be able to do a pull-up. You got to be able to do a chin-up. If you got to be able to do a squat. If you can't do any of that, then that's why people would lift weights. You know, they would, like, instead of grabbing, like, you know, 50-pound dumbbells, they'll grab like 3-pound dumbbells. You know, they'll do curls with that. They'll do military press with that. You know what I mean? So that has to be understood, is that weight training is a lot of, you know, it could be for the beginner, okay? And then once you're a beginner, you get used to weight training, then you could build yourself up to calisthenics. Now you could do push-ups, you could do pull-ups, you could do sit-ups, you could do everything with the body weight, and then you might not need weights anymore. So then you keep doing the calisthenic thing. But then after that, there's a higher level where it's like, you know, calisthenic training is just, it's too easy. Like, you need more. Like, you know, like, you're not going to sit around and do 100 push-ups all the time. So you're going to make things more efficient. So rather than doing push-ups, you do a bench press. You pop out like 10 reps, 5 reps, 15 reps on the bench instead of doing like 100 push-ups. You know, you would do, instead of doing like 50 pull-ups, you know, you put some weight on yourself and then do like 20 pull-ups with weight on. So rather than do like 40 chin-ups to work your biceps, then you put on some weight, so then you only have to do like 10. So basically, weights could be used as a way to make your training more efficient. So you shouldn't limit yourself to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna do calisthenics and that's it. So like, it's all in the way that you train. Like, there's a difference between like doing a 1 rep max and doing like 5 reps, 10 reps, 15 reps, 20 reps on the bench press, for example. So you need to find out what type of body type that you want. If you want more speed and more endurance, then that's gonna be like less weight, more reps. So instead of like benching 135 pounds like 10 times, you might just do the bar like 80 times because you want more endurance. Now that's what like boxers would do. That's why you see like boxers like Mayweather, they got like really small chests because they're more endurance based. They're not like, they have to last like 12 rounds. So they do a lot of like endurance type of things. A lot of jump roping, like for, they could do it for hours. A lot of punching, do it for hours. Speed back work. A lot of sit-ups, they could do it forever because they have to last long. So you got to decide like, okay, how do I want to train? Do I want to have more endurance? Do I want to have more speed? Do I want to have more strength? Do I want to have how do I want my body to look? And based on that will determine how many reps that you're gonna do. But to maintain speed while you weight train or calisthenics, a lot of it, to me, a lot of it has to do with like flexibility training. Like you gotta stretch like all the time. Like you have to stretch at least probably as much as you weight train. So if you weight train for an hour, then you should stretch for an hour. You weight train for 30 minutes, then you should stretch for 30 minutes. You should basically equalize your weight training with your strength training, or your strength train. Equalize your strength training with your flexibility training. So do a lot of stretching. You gotta learn how to do like relaxation. Learn how to like relax your muscles. That comes with the stretching, but just basically learning how to relax. That's how you keep the speed. Without the stretching, your speed's gonna go away. And also, like I said, it's about like how many reps you decide to do. The less reps you do, then you might get used to a little bit more speed, but then you sacrifice strength. That's another thing. But what I recommend is that like you do everything. You do lightweight, which is like you doing push-ups, which is just your body weight, and then you could do bench press. You could do 10 reps. Sometimes you could do 5 reps. Sometimes you could do 15 reps. So it's like you do all of it. The way that I train is like I train every single part of the body every single day, but I don't overdo it. I just do like 1 set usually for every muscle group every single day. I don't train like bodybuilders, where they train like, okay, they have a chest day, a back day, a leg day. I don't do that. That's for them. That's bodybuilding. That's completely different. I do like high intensity training, pretty much like you just burn out the muscle as much as you can, and then you move on to the next thing. That high intensity training to me is the most relevant to the martial arts. What else is relevant is circuit training. Bruce Lee was big into circuit training. That's basically very similar to high intensity training. You're just basically jumping from one exercise to the next, and you jump it from like, you might be doing like pull-ups, and then all of a sudden you're doing squats, and then right after that, then you're doing push-ups. It's like circuit training, just jumping from station to station to station, So then you're working your endurance and you're working your strength at the same time. Clearly, what you don't want to do is like lift like really heavy, like like really heavy weight, where you're only doing like 1 rep, 2 reps, 3 reps, whatever the case may be, and then you take like a 3-minute break, and then you lift again for another set, and you do 4 sets of 5. That's not how you're supposed to train if you want speed. That's more for like if you want to bulk up. But people that want speed, then you should do high intensity training or circuit training, where you're doing it like you're working your cardio at the same time, and you're not taking a lot of breaks in between. Okay, like you're constantly moving, you're constantly doing stuff. So meaning like maybe you do push-ups, you know, or say you do bench press, and you do like 15 reps, 10 reps, whatever, and then you immediately get into cardio. You do like a jump rope for like a minute, and then after that you do barbell squats for like say 20 reps, and then after that you do jump rope for another minute, and then after that then you do like pull-ups. You'd say you do like 20, and then you jump rope again. So you're like constantly moving, and lots and lots of stretching. Sometimes you might stretch for over an hour a day. This is if you really want the speed. If all you do is just lift weights, you never stretch, you're just gonna turn in one of those bodybuilders that where they can't scratch their back, they can't wipe their butt, they can't like move. You know they can't run too well, they can't run fast, they can't punch fast, they can't kick fast. They're just like they just can't move. Okay, so flexibility, if you really care about speed, you need to put a lot of emphasis on flexibility. If you're going to spend 2 hours strength training, then you better spend 2 hours stretching. Okay? And if you got 4 hours where you're strength training for 2 hours and you're stretching for 2 hours, you got 4 hours a day to do all that, then kudos to you. But most people don't have that type of time. So what you got to do, you got to cut down your training. Do 30 minutes of strength training, do 30 minutes of stretching. So that's what I recommend in order to maintain your speed while you lift weights.